It's not a secret that Man United's new owner is a no-nonsense man. Since Sir Jim Ratcliffe acquired a 25% stake in Manchester United in December 2023, and his INEOS group took over the running of football operations at the club, some very huge and brave decisions have been made. He closed down the staff canteen at Old Trafford, replacing employees' free lunches with a free piece of fruit. He suggested that monies being paid to certain former players be cut, and the one that really got people boiling, he terminated Sir Alex Ferguson's ambassadorial contract with the club. Now the strict billionaire has hit again. This time he has words for the players themselves. In a recent interview, he appeared to blast some superstar players Man United recently signed, and from his track record, that could smell trouble for the players in question. Anyway, we're here to closely examine the facts and try to predict the future. Here's what's next for the 6 Man United stars that Sir Jim Ratcliffe blasted. Before we get to the players, let's hear what Ratcliffe said about them. To summarise, he was talking about how the former ownership overspent on players and how, even this summer, they'll still have to be paying for those players. He mentioned Jadon Sancho, who's currently on loan at Chelsea but is expected to move permanently to London in the summer. As you know, Man United bought Sancho in 2021, but things didn't work out as the club had hoped it would, so he's had to be loaned out twice. But both times the club had to pay a part of his wages, and that's something Ratcliffe is not particularly happy about. But worse still, in the summer it's expected that Sancho will no longer be a United player, but the club will still have to pay an installment to Dortmund for his purchase, which happened 4 years ago now. Anyway, what next for Sancho? Well, that bit's pretty simple. It's almost 100% that he'll remain at Chelsea beyond the summer, so that's pretty sorted. With the other players though, it gets a little tricky. Like with Antony, for example. United broke the bank for him in 2022, and well, we all know how that went. Essentially, the club is still not done paying for a player who scored just 12 goals for the club in nearly 3 years. Now, why it's tricky with a player like Antony is this. Yes, he's currently doing well on loan at Real Betis, but there's no buy clause in his contract. So he's definitely returning to Manchester United in the summer, and United will have to make a big decision. Do they just take whatever Real Betis will offer and move on from him? Or do they put him on the market and try to sell to the highest bidder? Or do they bring him back and hope his newfound confidence propels him to great things at United? What do you think they'll do? Tell us in the comments. And while you're there, if you aren't yet subscribed to the channel, just make sure you do that now so that you don't miss out on any of our amazing content. Now, if you think it's tricky with the players on loan, how about the ones who are fully at the club right now, like Casemiro, for example? Ratcliffe also mentioned the Brazilian as one of the players who are still costing the club in transfer fees years after their purchase. And Casemiro's case is just that bit worse because he's the club's highest paid player and is not a regular starter. Considering he's already 33 years old and way past his prime, we think this is one player Ratcliffe will seriously consider selling off in the summer. Perhaps offer him to a Saudi club and see how much they can generate from the transfer. If they sell him, they should be able to get enough to take care of the installment they owe Real Madrid and still have some change on top. What about Rasmus Højlund though? Unlike Casemiro, he's still very young. I mean, he's just 22 years old, and United bought him 2 years ago with the dream that he'd be the one for the future. But so far, he's not lived up to expectations. What next for Højlund? Honestly, with 17-year-old Chido Obi Martin showing some promise and Xerxes really growing into himself, United might really consider selling Højlund in the summer. Of course, they won't get up to the 75 million euros they paid for him, but at least they won't have to be paying any more installments for his purchase. But there's also a chance that Højlund remains at the club and be given one more season to prove himself. He's still very young, so it's hard to give up up on players at that age? Well, we'll see what happens. Up next is Lisandro Martinez. Yes, Ratcliffe mentioned him as one of the players whose transfer is still costing United, but we're pretty confident that Lisandro's going nowhere, at least not anytime soon. He plays the role of left centre-back perfectly, which makes him a perfect fit for Amorim's setup. He's the best ball-playing centre-back at the club, and that is something Amorim loves, so we don't think that the manager will want to give him up soon. But here's the thing, we also know that Amorim loves tall and strong centre-backs like Maguire, Heaven, Yoro and De Ligt, which is the only thing that throws a little cloud of doubt on Lisandro's future at United. But seeing how the gaffer used the Argentine when he was fit gives us confidence to say that, provided Amorim is still here, Lisandro will still be at United for a couple more years at least. Finally, we come to Andre Onana. The Cameroonian was brought in to be an upgrade on De Gea, but he has not done that. On top of that, the club still owes Inter Milan for him. Onana has his good and bad side, so this will be a tough call for United to make. But if they are going to sell him, they'll have to first sign a new goalkeeper. Now, the type of goalkeeper they sign will determine how much longer Onana has at the club. If they sign a top goalkeeper, then Onana could be out by the summer. But if they sign a young goalkeeper for the future, the former Ajax man could be at the club for 1 or 2 more seasons. Anyway, which Man United player do you think will be shown the exit door this summer? And do you think that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is being too strict, or is he making all the right moves for the betterment of the club? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so that you never miss out on amazing content like this. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.